All right, good morning. We had a little bit of a hiccup with the technology this morning. Apparently Cameron cannot see the chat, but we're gonna drive right along. I don't need the counter up there. Okay, good morning. How you doing, Cameroon?
I'm all right this morning, sir. Another day, another dollar, all that good stuff.
Well, we've got 8 peoples watching, and looks like we've got Krista. Morning, sunshine. And Jeffrey Kukin has forsaken Just for Fun Radio at 7:30 to join us this morning. And brother, we appreciate your patronage. That's a that's a hell of a positive comment. Just you watching this instead of Scotty. Now, of course, I know you're going to go check out DJ Scotty as soon as we're off the air, and I'll pop over there myself to drop a link to this because gotta troll Scotty every chance I get, right? And Joe Macareno. I got Waller. I got Waller. I got Steve Rodemeyer and Joe Macareno. Big Mac. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. So, this morning we are talking, it's Me More Monday. Cameron, can you give us, before we dig into the article that we're talking about this morning, can you just real quickly give us kind of a brief what it is about why we do Me More Monday? I usually do that explanation. Can you hit that for a minute?
Well, because the battle's always for your mind. And memes, as we understand them now in the modern age, yes, they're funny pictures of Willy Wonka's sarcastic face being passed around Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. But the idea of the meme, of something that takes hold of your consciousn's and is a thought or idea that is communicated quickly, simply, and efficiently, is and always will be important. I mean, I know, Alex Jones, but seriously, the war is for your mind. It always has been. It always will be. Even going all the way back to the concept of original sin, baby. It's like, oh, no, you just go ahead and eat from that tree. You'll be as smart as God if you do. And that's basically been the struggle ever since. So that's why we do Me More Monday. A, because it's fun and it's the internet age. But B, it really encapsulates everything that the Brushfire Mind is about. I mean, it's called the Brushfire Mind for a reason. So there you go. Oh, also, if I'm being real honest, when we were planning this stuff out, I tried very hard to make everything phonetic, and so Meme War Monday, it just fit. I like the way it rolled off the tongue.
Yeah, when we first started the new program run, we had Me More Monday, we had Taco Tuesday, and that was supposed to always be about, originally, Taco Tuesday was just supposed to be about immigration rules and all that stuff. WTF CNN Wednesdays, Total Win Thursdays, and Firearms Friday. We still do Me More Monday and Firearms Friday. We do Total Win Thursday, but we just haven't had a lot of big wins lately. Although last week the Robin Hood situation, that went as a total win for independent day traders. So today, this show comes to you courtesy of Steve. Steve stumbled across these 2 articles together, and oh my God. So, most of y'all are familiar with the Babylon Bee, political and news satire. They're conservative and Christian.
They're like the Onion, but they're not atheist and not Marxist.
Yes, they're non-anti-American. They're pro-American Onion. So peaches and peanuts, baby. So we're going to talk about the Nobel Mostly Peace Prize this morning.
That's such a great title, buddy. I gotta
oh
give it
my
to
God, because the Babylon Bee, who just owns it, man. Babylon Bee and Donald Trump both have a bad habit of being bizarrely and terrifyingly correct on just a handful of things. So the Babylon Bee in August, right? This is back before the election. And keep in mind, in context, this is around the same time that Donald Trump was being nominated, was getting his third nomination for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize over his work on the Abraham Accords. So, you know, the joke here, obviously, is that, oh, well, the BLM rioters, you know, these are peaceful protests. But Donald Trump was actually nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize 3 times by 3 different nominating entities for establishing or securing the promise of peace in the Middle East. Now, there's a good argument to be made that he didn't actually secure peace in the Middle East because Joe Biden is now the president, which means we're going to be back in America's oldest business. Go look at your history books. Go study the dates and study the people in power. And you'll see that traditionally, if Democrats are in the White House, we're bombing brown people. It's what Democrats do. They just can't stand all that brown. So, and remember, this is the B article I'm reading. Oslo, the Norwegian Nobel Committee, has announced the recipients of this year's Nobel Peace Prize. Black Lives Matter peaceful protesters who burned down communities and violently beat all who stood in their way. BLM protester and Antifa member Bryce Hapley accepted the award on behalf of all the incredibly peaceful protesters across the United States. Nobody has done more for peace than these brave, peaceful protesters, a Nobel Committee spokesperson said while presenting the award to the young man, clad in all black and wielding a bike lock. Every thrown brick, every bloodied citizen, and every burned down low-income housing community represents another step toward world peace. This may be the most deserving recipient since Barack Obama.
Zing.
Happily immediately heard the Nobel medal through the window of a nearby Starbucks in the name of peace. So, that's the B. Fast forward to this last Friday, and we have the Guardian article. Black Lives Matter movement nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, for one, I hate it when an organization rather than an individual is nominated for the prize. If it is an organization, that organization was the responsibility of someone at its top. Somebody founded it, somebody got the ball rolling, somebody did the work, right? So,
aren't there a Marxist group, though? It thematically makes sense to nominate the whole group.
Because they don't have individuals?
Something like that.
Yeah. Anywho, so, this is the Guardian, okay? Just real quick. Just to show you. We're going to pull the Guardian up. There you go. This is theguardian.com. This is NewsGuard verified. Good information. Right? Tim Pool always points out that he uses NewsGuard because it's a third party verification. So detailed nutrition labels for thousands. Okay, whatever. This is so NewsGuard says they get a green check mark. So this is a legitimate news source, not satire. They don't do fake news. They issue corrections. That's what the green check mark is supposed to mean. Black Lives Matter movement nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. In theory, the green check mark means that if you fact check this, you will find it to be true. That's not a guarantee. The NewsGuard still ranks the Daily Wire as with like a red X or something. It's their weak sauce, but
it's better than no sauce.
But it does mean that this news outlet is left-wing propagandist approved. So the Black Lives Matter movement has been nominated for the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize for the way its call for systemic change has spread around the world. Boy, there's a sentence.
Yeah, call for
the way
systemic
its
change.
call for systemic change has spread around the world. That sentence is content independent because they're saying that it is the call for systemic change, which is the thing which is spread around the world. You know, there was another group of socialists that called for systemic change. And by this definition, you're telling me that Adolf deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. Content
really?
independent. He called for systemic change. And it was a call that spread around the world.
Well, really, all the socialists do this. They always come wrapped up in these pretty little packages. I mean, let's just go ahead and posthumously award it to Che, and let's see, Stalin, and dude, Pol Pot. He didn't really spread much outside of Cambodia, but he made a pretty systemic change in Cambodia. That's what happens.
I mean, we should nominate Winnie the Pooh over in China, or maybe the city of Wuhan. You know what? Let's nominate the bat, the actual bat, and don't forget Chairman Mao. Krista says it spread like syphilis around Conyers in the 90s.
But it really didn't. If you know the story behind that, I still can't believe I'm in that stupid documentary. Anyhow,
Cameron, we need to do a whole show where we just talk about what happened there. Because that documentary came out the year I moved to Conyers, and it was a little alarming.
Yes, but that was a very informative event in my life. It's why for example, I'm mistrustful of guys like Michael Moore. But look, back on topic though.
Yeah, because we've only read the first sentence of this travesty.
Well, the Nobel Peace Prize.
Hold on a minute there. Krista said, "Yeah, thanks for bringing that shit, Chris." The documentary came out the year I moved here. It was filmed prior to that. Don't you put that evil on me. Go get you some Jesus.
But the Nobel Peace Prize hasn't really meant a damn thing since Barack Obama got it for the presidency he hadn't even really started yet. It's the things he's going to do. Well, hold on now. What are those things, and how do you know he's going to do them? And for that matter, it's a measurable fact that racial tensions were higher at the end of the Obama presidency, not lower. And I know lots of otherwise reasonable, rational people that voted for Obama because he was black, and not just because they themselves were black. I know plenty of white people that voted for Obama because he was black, because they believed no matter how good or bad his policies were, that basically electing the first black president would finally be the thing that would close the book. Yes, we were an imperfect nation in the beginning. We treated the darkies real bad, but we stopped, okay? We stopped. We had this whole Civil War thing that had 500,000 dead at the end of it to put this to rights and so forth. So, yeah, and ever since the guy that objectively failed in what he was supposed to do with his presidency, ever since he got the Nobel Peace Prize, this doesn't mean a damn thing. It's a bunch of elites and universities and foundations and whatever that basically just get to say,
"Oh yeah, well, we're going to get to that in just a minute." Steve made a comment. He says, "As I said, the Nobel is as relevant as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." Steve, I'm going to give you a little pushback on that. I would argue that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a much more relevant prize because to get in there, you have to at least have made some music.
Amen to that.
Whereas, as we see now, even the active employment of Molotov cocktails and battery acid milkshakes for the expressed and explicit purpose of toppling a government, of destroying a nation. I mean, that's not my opinion of the thing that Black Lives Matter is interested in doing. That is their expressed and explicit intent. Their objective is to destroy the United States because it's evil and racist from its founding and the 1619 Project and all that crap. If a person says that BLM is not an anti-American terrorist movement, then you're either a liar or you're just completely uninterested in the facts. It's that simple. And as far as Kanye goes, Steve, it doesn't matter if you like the music, if he technically made music. That's still a step up from what it takes to get the Nobel Peace Prize. If Obama can win the Peace Prize and not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is still superior.
Actually, I'll just point out, if we're knocking Kanye, I listened to Jesus is King when it came out. There's actually a couple of good songs on that album. True story.
I listened to one song from it. It wasn't, I don't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, okay, it's technically music. It's not bad. It's not quite my flavor, but it's not completely contrived garbage. Anyway, we're off the now we're way off the topic again. Okay, Steve says not rock and roll. Anyway, we've had enough fun with that particular conversation, and now I've lost my thread. Okay. So back to the article. The Black Lives Matter movement has been nominated. In his nomination papers, the Norwegian MP Peter Eide said that the movement had forced countries outside the U.S. to grapple with racism within their own societies. I will grant you this. There is significant racism in some countries outside of the United States. If you still believe that racism is a real issue in the United States, you almost certainly believe that incorrectly. I'm not going to dig into that significantly, but I will say that if you're black in the United States and you think that racism has held you down substantially inside of the last 20 years, you have not traveled.
Yeah, go live in Japan for 6 months. Tell me how that works out.
Yeah, try Spain, or basically anywhere that is not a white majority Western democracy. Go be anything that's not the local national ethnic majority. Anywhere. And oh, by the way, if you're white, good luck in South Africa. Now, and as I mentioned before, I made the comments about them being socialists, and I made the Nazi reference and socialism and socialists, and Cameron said, and this is what socialists do. And so before I get naysayed or what about it, Peter Eide, born 15 August 1959, Norwegian politician, member of parliament, representing the Socialist Left Party.
Wait. I'm just going to take a stab. Is he white?
Quite, yes. In fact,
so a white leftist.
He looks like one of the Van Trapps. He's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy with perfect teeth.
Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay. Oh, God. So wait a minute.
If he were any whiter, he would be translucent.
You're telling me that a white leftist is treating the black people like they're special?
Yes.
I feel like I've heard this story before.
Was it in an interview with Malcolm X, perchance? You want to talk about a brother that hated himself, Democrats.
Boy, there'd be a guy
don't mistake that for an endorsement of Malcolm X. That's I have some complicated opinions on that dude, but that's
yeah. But you know what? There's that might be one worth going back and revisiting because there's that. You want to talk about a complex but highly intelligent? There you go. But no, look. Seriously, do you know what all this stuff about you're black and you've been held back? You know who you sound like to guys like Chris and I when you talk that way? White supremacists. Seriously, that's what they believe. They believe the color of your skin makes you inherently inferior and less able to compete in society because of your melanin content. And
by the way, I think it's hilarious that we have this pair of gems to usher in Black History Month.
and look, and it's a total virtue signal. And what's funny, and I at least want to bring it up that article that I found from last July from the Blaze with Pastor Bauschem. He's a black pastor, okay, and there was some kerfluffle because Mike Pence wasn't going to be baited into saying Black Lives Matter, and this black pastor came out in support of him and said, "Good, he shouldn't." It's a Marxist organization that is actually creating a subcategory out of black people, thereby dehumanizing them. Look, the first real progressive president, the first intellectual PhD having president that we ever had was Woodrow Wilson. And this is the guy that segregated the fucking army, right? This is the thing that lefties do. They're the ones that want to break us into groups and have one small collective group pitted against another collective group. So anyhow, but part of his point was, and I thought this was really fascinating, but the pastor said, I'm not going to use that phrase because I love black people and I love being black. And just, wow, that's powerful. Like, you don't hear me talk about being white, okay? It's, I'm aware of the fact that I'm white, and I am aware of the fact that the world perceives me in a certain kind of way because I'm white. But as far as like, oh, God, I'm just going to have some of that white pride. It's racist, but black pride. Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. We know that's an offensive thing, but because the bigotry of the soft bigotry of low expectations is so powerful and so pervasive and so systemic, it's cool for you to have black pride. And it's totally cool for white people to practice Kwanzaa. I mean, nominate Black Lives Matter for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah,
and since we've wandered down this particular trail, let's talk about Democrats and white supremacy for a moment. The left has been actively in like one of his dozens of executive orders. It creates special privileges for people based on their skin color, and it literally says, here's a list of every immutable characteristic that doesn't include straight white male. And if you want to open a business, we're going to give you a tax credit. If you want to buy a house, we're going to give you a tax credit. If you want to X, Y, and Z, we're going to give you an extra tax credit. And these are not small tax credits. It's like $15,000 to buy your first home. It's like $30,000 to open a not white straight male business. It's ludicrous. And as near as I can tell, because the whole tranny thing is part of the conversation, if I was just to start wearing lipstick and say, call me Krista, then they'd have to extend those same benefits to me, which also feels like a personal attack. Now, what have the Democrats been doing for the last 50 years? Well, you got Great Society, right? The Great Society. I'll have them voting for Democrats for 100 years, and that fishtails into affirmative action and minimum wage and all that. And the argument that you're making when you make a position for affirmative action or for minimum wage law, the argument that you're making is because you are not straight white male, you are not competent to achieve success without external interference. And therefore, since you are lesser than they, on your behalf, because we, a bunch of white liberals, think that you are less valuable and less capable and less competent than we straight white liberals, straight white leftists, we're going to use a weapon, the government, with guns, to go and take from those and give to you. And the argument we make is, nah, man, I think a brother can do what he wants to do. I think a brother can go open a business and make a buck because it's America and we are free. Or we used to be.
Yeah, just stay out of his way.
But
He'll probably be fine.
But what the enemy believes is, no. He's not a straight white man. He cannot succeed without our interference on his behalf. Who's the white supremacist, Joe? Well, hey, James Royster just popped in. I see him in the comments there. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Well, Joe in particular, hey, look, he didn't want his kids growing up in racial diverse jungles. But now, with the stroke of a pen, he's going to mandate equity. And I don't know, maybe this Norwegian prime minister, maybe he's just a total opportunist. He sees which way the wind is blowing, and he's like, well, time to virtue signal.
Or maybe he's a professional socialist.
Yes. That's what
I repeat myself.
All right, brother. That's I think that's me. I got to go make the donuts, or in this case, catch the rodents, but it's the same thing for me.
All right, brother. Well, y'all, thanks for joining us this morning. If you haven't checked him out yet, I'm about to pop over and watch a little bit of DJ Scotty's show while I do the housekeeping and reposting of this episode. So pop over on Facebook and look for Just for Fun Radio. I warn you,
it's adult content.
He's funnier than I am and far less reserved. So, but I'll see y'all over there, hopefully. And until tomorrow, y'all be safe, and we love you. Thanks for watching. Take care. Oh, and I got 8 people watching. I better see 8 thumbs up at least on this video when I go check it in a minute. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.